A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant military maneuver, the United States has deployed its largest warship, the USS Gerald R. Ford, to the Latin American region, intensifying tensions with Venezuela. This deployment, which includes a strike group of advanced aircraft and destroyer ships, is being framed by Washington as a strategic move to combat drug trafficking. However, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro has vehemently denounced the action as an aggressive attempt to undermine his government and oust him from power. The USS Gerald R. Ford, regarded as the world's newest and largest aircraft carrier, marks the largest U.S. military presence in the region since the invasion of Panama in 1989. The announcement of its deployment came nearly 3 weeks prior, and its arrival has sent ripples of concern throughout the Caribbean. While U.S. officials have publicly dismissed the notion of an impending military conflict with Venezuela, the situation is undoubtedly precarious. President Trump has suggested the possibility of ground operations, stating ominously that the land is going to be next following strikes on alleged drug trafficking vessels in the Caribbean. This rhetoric has escalated fears of a direct confrontation, with Maduro asserting that the Venezuelan military and citizens are prepared to resist any foreign invasion. In response to the U.S. military buildup, Venezuela has reportedly begun deploying weapons and preparing for a guerrilla-style resistance. Sources indicate that the Venezuelan military, already weakened by a lack of resources and training, is planning to utilize Russian-made equipment in a bid to mount a defense against potential U.S. air or ground attacks. This strategy is seen as a tacit acknowledgement of the country's military shortcomings, which include low morale and inadequate supplies. Maduro's government has laid out 2 potential strategies for resistance: a guerrilla-style defense termed prolonged resistance, and a more covert strategy known as anarchization. The former would involve small military units conducting sabotage and guerrilla tactics across more than 280 locations, while the latter aims to create chaos in urban areas, particularly in the capital, Caracas. This dual approach reflects the government's recognition of its limitations in conventional warfare against a formidable U.S. military force. Despite the Venezuelan government's public dismissal of U.S. threats, officials have called for national unity and peace. Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello scoffed at the idea that a bombing campaign could dismantle Venezuela, while Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino emphasized the country's readiness to defend its sovereignty. Maduro has also touted the loyalty of the military, claiming that the armed forces are well prepared to resist any foreign aggression. However, the reality on the ground tells a different story. Venezuelan troops face dire conditions, with many soldiers earning a mere $100 a month, far below the cost of basic necessities. This economic strain raises concerns about potential desertions in the event of a conflict. Furthermore, while Maduro claims that millions of civilians are training in militias to defend the nation, sources suggest that only a fraction of these individuals would be actively involved in any resistance efforts. The Venezuelan military's equipment is outdated, with much of it being Russian-made and lacking modern capabilities. Despite Maduro's assertions of having thousands of portable missile systems ready for deployment, analysts have raised doubts about the effectiveness of Venezuela's military arsenal against the advanced technology of the U.S. military. As tensions escalate, Russia has indicated its willingness to assist Venezuela, urging against further military escalation. Maduro has appealed to Moscow for repairs and upgrades to military equipment, highlighting the precarious position of Venezuela's armed forces. The ongoing situation has drawn the attention of international observers, who are closely monitoring the developments in this volatile region. In summary, the deployment of the USS Gerald R. Ford and the subsequent military buildup in the Caribbean signify a critical juncture in U.S.-Venezuela relations. While Washington frames its actions as necessary measures against drug trafficking, the implications of such a military presence are far-reaching. As both nations prepare for potential conflict, the stakes are high, and the future of Venezuela hangs in the balance. The world watches closely as the situation unfolds, with hopes for a peaceful resolution amidst rising tensions. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.